Welcome to the DIB Committee series on Conversations with Leaders Across W.R. Berkley. My name is Renae Gary, and I'm the HR lead at Admiral Insurance Group. I'm also a member of W.R. Berkley's Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging Committee. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Dan Smyrl. Dan is the president of Admiral Insurance Group. He's also been a part of the Berkley family for close to 20 years. Dan's diverse background and experience has shaped him into a leader who has a true passion for DIB. Dan is going to share his perspective on why it's important to have diversity and inclusion in the workplace. He's going to talk about its linkage to Berkley's innovation initiative and ultimately how it helps to make the Berkley organization and culture even stronger. Dan, how are you today?
Good, Renae. Thanks. How are you?
I am doing very well. So I've had the privilege of working with you since joining the company in 2015, and I must say that I've always admired your commitment to the organization and your ability to engage your teams. How has W.R. Berkley helped with your development over the past 20 years?
Well, first, thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. When I focus on my development here at Berkley, first of all, I've had some incredible training, and I've also had a lot of opportunities to succeed. And Berkley's culture of innovation is really an investment in all of us and will really help drive our future. The benefit we also get at Berkley, being such a large company with the different operating units, we have a lot of incredible people around the organization to collaborate and to learn from, and I encourage everybody to do that as much as possible.
Yep. Now, what motivates you about being a leader at W.R. Berkley as well as the head of Admiral?
I think one of the biggest things is not just running a successful company, it's the ability to help shape the culture of the company and to continue to improve it for our people, also hopefully for our families, not just our customers, and also hopefully our communities.
So as you know, the industry has evolved so much within the last several years, not to mention the last 20 years. In your opinion, how can a focus on diversity have a positive impact on the business?
Well, diversity can really benefit us in many ways, especially getting perspective from different people, which could be different in something you grew up with, how you learned over years, how you know things to be. To get that other perspective really helps shape your decisions and really get enough perspectives from different people that you kind of have a better understanding of what you need to do. Another important factor really around that is that a company that embraces DIB, I think it really will help improve employee morale. When you have a situation where everyone feels involved and they feel like they're a part of something and that their feedback is important and that you take that information and they see that used in creating a solution, it really drives home that feeling of being part of the overall, which is really important for us. The Berkley model is also very helpful because it drives innovation, which really helps us address changing client needs, which again, as the world continues to evolve, it becomes more important for us to have a better understanding of things that we might not have been aware of in the past.
Yeah, so true. So through our conversations over the years, it's really apparent how committed you are to enhancing Admiral's culture and just ensuring that DIB is fully ingrained in what we do. Share with us your passion for DIB and where it comes from.
I thought about this, and when I look back, there was a combination of different things, but probably one of the biggest impacts that had on my life involving this was my mom. I looked back, and when I was a kid, she worked in the city of Philadelphia, and she was the kind of person that she talked to everybody. She didn't just stop to say hi, she actually asked people about their lives and what was going on. She was extremely empathetic, very inclusive, again, just getting feedback from everybody. And she took that information, she really learned about people, learned what they liked, learned what they didn't like. It really helped shape her conversation and how the relationship she had with those people. And that's something that really stuck with me. I've also been very fortunate being in the industry for close to 40 years now, that I've worked with a lot of great people. I've learned from a lot of people, had a lot of influence, seeing different styles, what worked, and really paying attention, hearing about what was important to people, and just that people wanted to be heard and understood. Being heard was one thing, but also being understood was important. And it was sad that so many people don't really take the time to understand what somebody might be going through or what's different about them. We're also very lucky working at a company like W.R. Berkley, where we have so many different operating units, and we've got a lot of incredible people that we can reach out to and collaborate, and I encourage everybody to do that. It's really beneficial.
Yeah. You talked a lot about your mom earlier. She sounds like she was an incredible woman. And it's interesting how those personal experiences shape who we are. Tell me how that experience has shaped your views on DIB in the workplace specifically.
It made me realize that I was very fortunate that I had opportunities to succeed, and I kind of realized that everyone didn't have the same opportunities. I was fortunate to have good mentors and people that kind of took me under their wing, and that's not always the case for everyone. So for me, it's really important about expanding those opportunities for people, giving everybody else that chance to succeed. There's so many things that when we look at with the insurance industry, that currently there's only about 15% of the insurance industry is made up of people of color. And the reasoning why, there's a lack of educational opportunities, there's a lack of exposure, there's a lack of people that are experienced working together to solve these issues. And we really need to branch out and continue to do more and find ways to address those gaps.
Mm-hmm. So Dan, you mentioned about the gaps and ways that we could close gaps. And how do you see Admiral and W.R. Berkley evolving? And what changes do you think are going to be critical for us to make as we embark on this journey?
I think we're off to a great start as far as promoting the awareness, the training that we've had, the different inclusion series that we've gone through already. It's really given us some insight into the need for diversity, inclusion, and belonging. So we're moving along. This journey needs to continue, and we're doing different things. We're already looking at hiring practices changing. We're looking at changes to our internship program, changes in our learning and development, charitable organizations that we work with, different foundations. The list goes on, all the areas we can improve on, and it's something we definitely have a focus on. The other thing we look at too is just what we've learned on the business side. A really good example is on fraternity business. So fraternities we have written for over 20 years, and up until about 6 years ago, we were not the carrier for the predominantly black fraternities, which are known as the Divine Nine. And we won that coverage. It's been about 6 years now. And initially, when we were looking at that coverage, we were thinking of fraternity as a fraternity. And then we met with all the people that worked at those national fraternities for the Divine Nine, and we got a much better understanding about how they were different. And their alumni are so much more involved than the predominantly white fraternities, that these men help to shape and influence the undergrads, that they participate in events, that they're there kind of truly as brothers. Like fraternities all call each other brothers, but they were really hands-on, that they were there with these guys at events, and they kind of helped guide them to make better decisions. And that really impacted, how we priced their coverage, how we looked at it, because again, recognizing the differences, and that instead of just looking at head count saying that's our exposure, we were able to look at it and say this is something different, and it was a good thing.
Nice. Now that is a great example of how DIB influences how we do business and also has a positive impact. You did mention earlier, though, about enhancements to our hiring practices, specifically Admiral's internship program. What changes or enhancements do you anticipate making there?
It's really a very simple change. We're just looking to expand the amount of schools that we currently work with and focus on some of the predominantly black universities. And we also learned, in discussions throughout Admiral, that we've had several current employees that were participants in the inroads program. So we're definitely looking to partner more there also.
Yep. So another thing you mentioned earlier that was really important as we go on this journey is education and awareness. And you personally attended some sessions that we held at Admiral recently. They were called Inclusion is Innovation, and the sessions were focused on unconscious bias. You talked earlier about instances where people made decisions based off of assumptions and not having all of the facts, which hits on unconscious bias. So how have those sessions, in your opinion, benefited the Admiral team?
I think the sessions were great. It was something that really kicked this off well. It gave everybody the perspective that people do have unconscious biases, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. The most important thing is that we try and make sure that we don't have our decision-making clouded by it. So it's okay to have a bias, but it's like we don't want it to have a negative impact on decisions. Something else that we became aware of as far as inclusion, our own internship program that we started about 6 years ago. And internship programs, normally we're teaching them, they're learning from us, we have the experience, they don't. And we gave the interns a project. And they did such an incredible job with the project. It was something that we actually implemented into our work. And each year since then, we've implemented this internship challenge, and every single time they've done such a good job, we implemented it. So it was kind of a good reminder that, you know, we're also learning from a younger generation, so that we're taking that feedback and we're learning from their own experiences and just how they think differently. And it's been beneficial for us to see that.
Yep. So Dan, I totally agree. I enjoyed conducting the sessions with yourself and the Admiral team. What was most impactful about the sessions was not only the open dialogue and the opportunity to learn from each other, but the opportunity to identify ways for us to overcome our biases and making more informed decisions that would ultimately get us to the best outcomes. So with that, what advice would you give other leaders around DIB and its benefits and importance?
I would tell everyone that this is a great opportunity right in front of us, and it's something that's really going to shape our future. This isn't something that you can just check the box and do one time. This is something we have to live. It has to be who we are. And if we do that, it's going to improve us as an organization. It's going to improve our people. It's going to improve our communities. This is something that's really far-reaching and is extremely important for our future. I really think there's a major benefit.
Yeah, so true. And such powerful words. It is a journey. So as always, your insight and candor on this topic are really refreshing. On behalf of the DIB committee, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with me and sharing your perspective. We certainly hope that others will gain some great insight, and thank you again.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.